So here we have a Cozmo that's not in a very best state. We're missing an axle, gearboxes, and gearbox is knackered. Let's see if it's even powers up. Okay, does charge. Screen seems functional. And yeah, we see 622 EB1. So at least that is working. Okay, let's take it apart and replace the shell and everything that. Okay, first things first. What we need to do is remove the upper arm. To do this, obviously we have one missing. To do this, you just unsnap it like this. No, not like this. Similar. Oh, good. Okay. Remove the connecting piece and put it safe. Now, arm all the way up, and it just pops out like this. Just goes out. There we go, like this. Somewhere safe. Now, next thing, we can remove the left track. The right one is missing. And pop all the wheel caps off. Just put the fingernail here and pull away. There we go, like this. Goes to somewhere safe. Next one, same thing, somewhere safe. This rear, same deal, somewhere safe. Now, those 4 screws, take a screwdriver. I think it's Phillips head 00. No, it's Phillips head 1. And just unscrew the bolts. Be careful, those bolts are very easy to strip. So be really careful and try not to damage the head too much. Okay, remove. Move the gear and put it somewhere safe. Same with this one. Unscrew. Put the gear somewhere safe. Now just have this rear one, unscrew. Just precautionary advice here. Rear screws might be shorter than front screws, but this one seems to be the same length. Yeah, okay, this one goes away. Next thing, you can lift the head up, put the fingernail on the upper side of this ear and just pull it out like this. See? And now we have 2 screws here. Put somewhere safe, and same thing on the other side. Fingernail around, fingernail pops out. Now we have exposed screws on both sides. Okay, now remove this screw. This will remove this connecting bracket, and of course put it somewhere safe, because we're gonna reuse all the screws. We're gonna replace the entire shell, but we will keep the screws. So this piece goes away because we're not gonna use it again. So the head, the easiest way is to undo just the screws here. And here. And now just the bottom one, not the top one. I'm gonna show you in a minute why. There we go, the bottom one. Now, head is spring loaded, so when I'm gonna release it, it's gonna blow apart. See? it wants to jump apart. Screen glass, screen protector. Vector is loud at the back, and now this one pops away. You see, we have a spring here, goes in here. And this is the reason why we didn't undo that screw. We have this plastic axle here, and we do not want to mess with that. Okay. The other part of the head, just unsnap the speaker, put the head somewhere safe. If we next thing, disconnect this 3-pin connector that connects to the head. Just grab it and wiggle it. The head goes away easily. We put the head somewhere safe because it's important. Next thing, those two screws. Get them off. One is off. Second one is nearly off now. There we go, it's off. Now, just put the thumbnail here. And it just snaps off. Be careful because here's the head moving cog. Put this safe because we're gonna need it later on. Next thing, this one comes off easily. Okay, now we have two more screws that are buried in. One is here, one is here. We need another one of those long screwdrivers. Get it in and let's go. Unscrewing, unscrewing. And here it is. All the screws are the same except for one. I'm gonna show you which one. Let's bring this one removed. It's this one here. This one is slightly longer than others. Or at least it should be if this Cozmo has not been messed up with, which is highly likely. And this screw is actually the same length as all others, which of course means that someone has been messing with it. Yeah, you see, this one is longer, this one should be in the neck. So someone is already opened this one before, which is obvious because it's knackered beyond recognition, to be honest. So, okay, that for all. So next thing is carefully pull it apart, really slowly, like this. So here we go. Okay, so what do we do next? Undo the head, gearbox, show it, which is this bad boy here, this screw, and we're just gonna let the screws in. Like this. And like this. There we go. This one goes away. We can already toss this part away. So now we're gonna take this back, which contains all the new bits. So the connecting piece and left and right shell. So now we need the right shell, and of course we need to transfer the counterbalance weight. So this one has it, this one doesn't have it because, let's be honest, I already removed it. Just screw it. Those bolts are the same as for the gears. So pop. Come on, pop off. If it's not gonna pop off, then I'm gonna have to find it somewhere else. There we go, it pops off easily. And just slide it in like this until it clicks. It clicked. Now just screw. I'm gonna put it on this screwdriver, which is slightly magnetic, and it goes back in. There we go. One side is ready, and I can already start putting this gearbox back in, so that I do not forget to put anything in. Oh, wrong screwdriver. I'll have to use this one because it's got slightly bigger head. There we go, and this one. So unfortunately, this Cozmo will no longer look like an special edition Cozmo, but it's gonna look like an ordinary, like red and silver one. So there we go. One side is done. Now go for the next. Same principle, just pull it off like this, and be careful because this bottom counterweight will just fall off. And the dreaded and the most problematic of them all, the arm gearbox, which also needs to be rebuilt here. I'm just gonna unscrew it. Unscrew one bolt, unscrew another bolt. So now I can actually remove it and disassemble it. There we go. So next thing is, we're gonna need the smallest screwdriver that I have, and we're gonna remove those 4 bolts. One is here, one is here, one is here, one is here. We're gonna remove those, and then use parts from this one to rebuild it, because this one is just like, see, it's here. It clicked because it's got at least one teeth, but I would say 2 teeth broken. So we're gonna open it and see whether or not that is true. Those screws are very, very small, so be careful not to lose them. 3. And finally the last 4th one, which is buried deep under here. There we go. You can leave this one in. Now just turn it around and slowly move this out. And as you can see, yeah, there's one gear that's completely missing, and you can also see that this one is slightly knackered as well. So that's why it's clicking and not moving as it should. Oop, screw just fell out. Need to capture it. And now I just need to disassemble the second gearbox. Oh, where did I put it now? Jesus Christ. Now there it is. So those 4 screws out. That one goes out. That one goes out. That one goes out. And that one goes out as well. Enough. So here we go. This one is in slightly better condition. So we're gonna use this one, and we're just gonna put that gearbox aside. That's, housing goes away, and just put it on like this. Much better. Okay, to reassemble it, be sure that this light sensor is placed properly. Put the housing back on. It will only go on one way, and it will also clip in the sensor. Now just turn it upside down, put the screws in, and start screwing them in. But be careful because it's all plastic, so don't over torque them. Just finger tight is enough. Just this last one, which is the most unpleasant one, but we're gonna get it. There we go, it's in. Okay, next thing, we're gonna remove the counterweight and place it on the new one. It's somewhere safe. Off with you. This shell goes to the recycling bin. This one goes in. And this final screw, we're gonna put it in. Oh, there we go. I'm clumsy. And here we go, screwing it back in. Just like that. Okay, that part is done. Next thing, put the gearbox back in. It only goes in one way. So, like this. Come on. There we go, like this. Put the two screws back in. One in the upper and one in the lower position, but I need to get second screwdriver. Like this. This one is screwed in, and now this top one. And we're done. So next thing, put at least 1/2 in, and then we're gonna need to put the counterweight back in. There is a coil, so counterweight goes like this, so that this void, that's this void, goes over this coil, like this. And it only goes in one way, like this. It's fit. Now just flip over the second part. Be careful not to clip the cable, and just snap it in, just like this. Put the rear cover over until it snaps, and here we are. We're not going to replace this one because it takes too much work and effort to actually move all those buttons and LEDs. So we're gonna keep this as is. So next thing, I'm gonna put the screws in for the body. That means this screw. Done. This screw. And it's done. Now we're gonna put this one. The longest one goes here. It was actually put in the wrong position, so there we go. Now it's in the proper position. Now the rear shield goes in. Just it clicks in place. Then with two screws it will hold it together. One goes here and one goes, now I not want to use the head screws because some of the head screws are painted, so yeah, those are those. Gonna use those. So be careful if you're mixing the screws, because head screws are marked with white paint on the heads. I have no idea why they done this, but I guess it's something with how the things are produced. Next, put also this piece over this fender guard. this screw in, tighten it, like this, tighten this one. We don't want to over tighten any of the screws because it's all in plastic, so you could quickly ruin the threads in, so that's no good. Okay, next thing is the head assembly. So the easiest way is to actually get one side on, then connect the head. So we'll connect the head. We'll make sure that we didn't mess the screen, which we didn't, but I'm still gonna just use some rag and clean the dust off. Looks okay. Next thing, put one side of the head in. It must be on those pivot points. That's imperative, otherwise we're gonna end up with a few problems. So here we go, and the screen has these slots in, so these slots must also align properly. There we are. Put it slightly down. You can all, for the speakers, we're not gonna fully snap it in right now. So now the next part of the half of the head must go, come on, like this, and be careful not to lose the spring. It must be inside this pivot point so that the head remains spring loaded. And now I'm slowly getting all my hands used, but I still need to get one more hand and actually put the screen back in, and I did it. And the screen was pretty dirty to begin with, but some rubbing we should be just fine. Okay, done. So next thing, screws in. This one goes in, we just tighten it up. Putting the head together is actually pretty crazy because it's spring loaded, so it easily goes back into the million pieces if you're not careful enough. Okay. One more. There we go. There we go. Let's put the head down, wire in, and click. So speakers on place. Next thing, the wheels. Screw in, maybe just a few turns by hand, and then just use your screwdriver, and like this. So be careful not to strip the heads. Otherwise, you're gonna have to find similar screws in your local hardware store. One more, and one more is actually still stuck in that part, so I'm gonna need some pliers to grab that and remove it. But I'm afraid that it's gonna be stuck pretty nicely because it's all that glue. Yeah, it won't budge. We'll need to find the new screws. There we are. New one. There we are. Pop the wheel caps back on. Rear one, front one, done. Ears, tracks. Fortunately, I only got one track, so we'll not need to mount another one. There we go, both tracks on. Now lift. Again, put it like it goes in only the one way, like this. See? Now it stays in any position, because we rebuilt the gearbox. This one goes through. And just threads on the other way, side as well. Align and just push in like this. Done. Let's see, let's test it. On the charger it goes, charges, power's on. Oh, come on, so much glare. Okay, I'm gonna took my tablet, connect to it, and we'll see. Home, it's this one. Now I just need to type in the password. It's connecting, and here we go. Let's move the screws away. Let's see, Explorer mode. Okay. Camera is working. Let's see the head moving. So the head is moving. Lift. It's slightly rattling because one arm is missing. Still. Reverse goes. Forward it goes. Turns. So we're good. Okay, let's slip it, and then we will power it off, pack it, and ship it back. We're done.